Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. So, we are living moments of unprecedented change, and the threat landscape is becoming more and more complex, and as well is continuously changing. Cybersecurity has become one of the major worries, one of the major concerns of all organizations. No matter what is the size, big or small, they are concerned about that. And you just need to open the newspaper today to see what's the scope and what is the impact of ransomware, cybercrime, cyber attacks, cyber espionage. The cost that cybercrime is becoming is 8 trillion. So if cybercrime were to be a real economy, it would be the third economy in the world, just behind US and China. And what is even more astonishing is that if you take the 20 biggest economies in the world, the one that is growing faster, that is India, is growing at a slower pace than cybersecurity. And cybercrime is indeed an economy. So you can now buy, just for $60, you can buy a ransomware kit. For less than $100, you can get spear phishing as a service. And 2024, it's an important year. I know you know that 4.2 billion people are going to polls to vote this year. So it's half of the humanity. In a time in which threat actors, sponsored by states, are putting their efforts in cyber espionage. So we have a great responsibility towards our democracies. Every year in Microsoft, we run what we call cyber state defense report. And this year we are highlighting that the attacks toward password, identity attacks, are increasing tenfold. We are increasing the number of threat actors that we are following, now up to 300. And we discover that attacks toward open source have increased 700% in less than 3 years. The growth of human-operated ransomware has been 200% in the last year as well. And then it comes generative AI, right? So everybody's talking about GenAI. GenAI is great. It's going to change the way we're working, but it's also helping attackers. So we run an analysis all together with OpenAI a couple of months ago, and we realized how attackers are using LLMs. So we went after Emerald Street, Forest Blizzard, for example, and they're using LLMs to make their attacks more effective and more efficient. For example, looking for vulnerabilities, improving their social engineering skills, improving their scripting capabilities, etc. And this is just, the macro level. But Joan, what do you think that the SOC is facing right now?
Wow, Lucas, definitely, the landscape that you are defining here is so challenging, is so relevant to know exactly how this can impact ourselves that we need to understand right now and want to explain in this session how all this landscape can impact a very crucial piece of what defenders are using to protect against all these cybercrime threats, which is basically a SOC. And it's not that ourselves at Inetum or Microsoft himself is considering that SOC is one of those crucial pieces. It's also that even the regulators here in the EU are considering so. We are seeing that many of the measures that have been defined on the NIS2 directive or even in the Cyber Solidarity Act are under the scope of what a SOC shall be considered. So definitely all this landscape has to have a very important impact on how we organize a SOC. So definitely we need to build up a SOC that is efficient, that has a very nice impact on our defense strategy. And therefore, we're going to analyze exactly how do we build right now a SOC and how can we enable this SOC, this modern SOC, what we try to call it so. So just to start, first of all, let's analyze a little bit how we build up or how we organize a SOC nowadays. Currently, we organize a SOC under 3 big pillars. The first of all, of course, is the skilled professionals. Right now, we have a bunch of people that it's all together in a room before the pandemics. Right now, most of them are working from home, so that's another thing to add on how we organize at SOC, which are absolutely skilled. We know that these people have all the necessary skills just to build up those security measures, just to analyze and run all the SOC operations. And these are tired in different kind of profiles, like security analysts, threat intelligence analysts, or incident responders. And each of them is doing the task that the SOC has given to that specific profile. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second pillar where we base this SOC is well-defined processes. We have to try to optimize how the operation of a SOC has to be done. We try to conform the operations by defining a use case lifecycle so that any one of those profiles that we've seen on the first pillar knows exactly what to do and does it very efficiently. We have developed incident response playbooks so that everyone there knows exactly how to respond when working on an incident response. And we've developed practices like threat hunting, we've developed the threat intelligence so that the SOC operation is better and better at the time. And finally, we have incorporated advanced technology capabilities. Most of you have been, walking around this conference, this congress, and have seen many, many, many tools that perhaps 10, 15 years ago weren't at our hand for our operation. Right now, we have endpoint detection and response solutions, we have SIEM solutions, we have SOAR solutions, so that we are doing better and better by incorporating new technology to that capabilities that the SOC may have. So these 3 pillars is how we define SOC nowadays. But right now, the threat landscape that Lucas has explained us is overcoming the capacity that this SOC needs to have to respond to that threat landscape. So which are the main challenges that a SOC has to face right now and, of course, in the future? The first of all is the lack of resources. And we are not talking just about people or cash. We all know that we are running out of very good professionals so that we can fill up that first pillar that we showed before. It's not only that, it's also that many companies are questioning why do they need a SOC? Why do they need to invest in a SOC? Why do they have to put resources in a SOC? And that's really a challenge for that SOC to define exactly what they are doing and why do they have to evolve into a better operation at the time as long as the threat is increasing or that the extension of the assets that they have to cover are growing and growing at the time or even changing if we incorporate cloud or different solutions. The second one is the services planning. Many of the SOCs have been built, by increasing and introducing solutions at the time, and in increasing and introducing new assets that they have to cover. But we need a services planning. We need to build up, a very good strategy where to build the SOC capabilities, the SOC protection, and how this is going. Why do we need to have that? Because that's protecting our business. So definitely the services planning to identify the main threats, to focus on those just to ensure that the operation is efficient and is in benefit and profit of the organization is absolutely crucial. And also to avoid the burnout of people that is working on a SOC. Also, we need to cope with one big challenge, which is enabling technology. We have spoken before that one of the main pillars is incorporating more and more new technologies. You've seen many of these solutions, but most of them, are very complicated to integrate. We need to enable that technology just to ensure that this produces the most and that those tools are very well coordinated. And how we grow, how we make that scalable, it's not an easy task because all these tools are very complicated to operate, to extract value from them, and so on. And then here's the SOAR. The SOAR is also a very nice promise on how can we do that, all that stuff automatically. But it's not always an easy task, to make a playbook, to put in the SOAR, that the different solutions can operate and interoperate very well with that SOAR. So that's one of the main big challenges for that SOC. And finally, Lucas has explained very well how this evolving threat landscape is growing and growing. Not only in sophistication, we have new TTPs, we have new threats, we have new actors. I mean, that's constantly and relentlessly changing all the time. So definitely we need to face how these new threats and how this new landscape is growing and more. So how do we see that modern SOC? Do we see that a SOC has to evolve to, to be better, to operate better, to perform better? We consider that there's 4 big things that a SOC has to face. Considering all the challenges that we've explained before, we think that a modern SOC has to face, first of all, on the operations. We have to change our standing point from a reactive point of view and just reacting to all the incidents or the implementation of the new tools that we are operating at the time to a proactive operation. We need to know exactly which is our plan. We need to develop that and enforce our capacities the better that we can in a proactive way. We also need to ensure that the operations are scalable. We've talked right now that the threats are evolving, new actors, new ways, new TTPs, and that necessarily requires that our SOC operation may increase. And also we need to contextualize, easy and repeatable process. That's crucial as well, because definitely those processes is the first step for automation. So the operation has to become better just because we go automating more and more. Also considering from the solutions environment, we need to reduce the integration efforts for these tools. So evolving to a kind of a platform to somehow an operations ecosystem, a tools ecosystem that is easy to grow, that is scalable, that is easy to integrate, and is easy to operate by our SOC. Because one of the main things is, as we've shown before, our fundamentals in the SOC is having skilled people. And having skilled people, if we go changing and introducing more and more tools, is also a difficulty that a SOC has to face up. It's crucial that the solutions is a way that we can introduce more and more capacities without all that friction, without all difficulties of integrating and training our people to take the most of these solutions. We need to evolve also to an intelligent workforce. What does it mean, an intelligent workforce? I'm not meaning, of course, that the SOC people is not intelligent at all, but we need to operate in an intelligent way. We need to do it better, introducing AI by, doing all those automation, all those processes, all that work that is absolutely burning out most of the people, most of the profiles that are working on that SOC. We need to, move that in charge of the AI. We need to introduce it at scale. We need to dedicate this expert workforce to valuable operation, to that operation that really brings value to what the SOC is doing. And of course, we have to give a broader scope for professionals. It's not that you are working only for threat intelligence, you are working only for threat hunting, so that if you have all that assistance from technology, you can do more and more in the SOC. So it's easier to interchange profiles from one task to another, and that means to be an intelligent workforce. And finally, of course, we need to improve performance and results. We need to produce more. We need to adapt the metrics that we are giving to each of the recipients more and more, just for them to understand what's the value of that SOC. So Lucas, what do you have in mind, to cope with all these challenges and help this roadmap into an intelligent, modern SOC?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Oriol. It was a great explanation of what a modern SOC needs to be. So there are 3 ingredients that from technology platform perspective we can provide here. First of all is large scale and threat intelligence, then a true end-to-end protection, and finally, best-in-class generative AI. So let me go one by one. So signals are important because you cannot protect what you cannot see, right? And we see a lot. We are currently managing 4 of the major clouds in the world, including Azure, Modern Workplace, M365, Xbox, etc. And we are protecting 1.4 billion endpoints across the globe. And that includes servers, mobiles, desktops, etc. And we are not only protecting the things that we know and the clouds that we own, but also we are graphing the whole internet so that we can see attackers whenever they are and whatever the infrastructure is. So with that, we are able to gather 78 trillion signals every day. And with that signals, coupled with information we got from our 1 million customers and 15K partners about the behaviors of the attackers, we are able to have best-in-class threat intelligence. The second piece is true end-to-end protection. So if you want to protect your digital estate end-to-end, you need to protect your endpoints, your identities, your data, your infrastructure, cloud, applications, so on and so on. And this is important to do it in an holistic way, because attackers typically take advantage of the gaps that appears between silo solutions to get in. So Microsoft Security Technology Platform will cover from security, identity, privacy, data compliance, and device management as well. So we have catered 50 different product categories into 6 product families. And those 6 product families, you have it here, are Sentinel and our Sentinel and Defender for cloud security and threat protection, Priva and Purview for data security, compliance, and privacy, and Microsoft Entra and Intune for endpoint management and identity. This platform is really wholly integrated with all components with each other. For example, we have announced just a couple of months ago our unified SOC view that is merging the concept of CM and XDR so that we can have the best of both worlds. In RSA, a couple of weeks ago, we announced as well that we are getting the signals for insider risk management of Purview data platform into our XDR so that we can have a full view of what's the risk in every identity. These kind of integrations are really important because that will save a lot of time in the SOC. So the analysts won't need to be integrating solution, would forget about complex data flows between solutions, and at the end you will get better time to response, better time to detect. And then, we need to talk about it, GenAI. So Copilot is a force multiplier for security. Copilot for Security is the first GenAI solution in the market that is able to help the SOC to respond at AI speed and at AI scale. And this is thanks to its AI architecture that is able to reason over data that comes from multiple solutions connected to multiple clients, partners, and vendors of security. And this is important because Copilot for Security is an open platform. It's not supposed to be working only with Microsoft products. You can have plugins of any kind of vendor that you're using. Copilot for Security combines the best of OpenAI models with our internally developed AI architecture that combines as well our knowledge of our products and our threat intelligence. So it will meet you whenever you are. It doesn't matter if you're an IT analyst, a security analyst. It doesn't matter if you work on identities, if you work managing devices. Copilot for Security will help you determine what is the issue you're having, will you provide actionable next steps, and will you guide you through the process. At GA, we have created 2 really simple-to-use use cases for Copilot for Security that then you can infuse in any modern SOC you wish. Those use cases are listed there, so incident summarization, impact analysis, reverse engineering of scripts, and guided response. With incident summarization, you are able to get full context on every incident, and with the help of GenAI, you will be distilling complex alerts and incident information into actionable summaries with clear step-step guide. That will help you to better triage and better guide your efforts. With impact analysis, you will be able to determine at every alert you have in your environment what is the real impact in real time and also the potential one. Then again, you will be able to use this intelligent warfare, so you will be focusing on what you need to do. Reverse engineering of scripts is something that is also done by higher level in the SOC. It's not something simple, but you will be able to do it with your level 1, level 2 analyst in a really fast and simple way, in which they will see the natural language translation of these scripts and see at each step what the malware is trying to do. And guided response is something that I really love it. So for every incident you will have in your SOC, you will have a clear guidance, a step-by-step guide in which you will know how to triage, how to investigate, how to contain, and how to respond to every incident you have. These are just the 4 very first use cases, but we're investing more in data security use cases, reporting use cases, cloud security use cases, and more that will come. And here you have some of the results that we have actually achieved. So a couple of months ago, we did a study with more than 150 security analysts from different SOCs. And more than 100 of them had more than 5 years experience, so they were seasoned, experienced professionals. And we did this kind of A/B testing. We wanted to check what was the real impact in terms of productivity, in terms of velocity, in terms of accuracy of Copilot for security in the SOC. So we had 2 use cases, a bug, and also a ransomware attack. And half of the professionals were given Copilot for security plus our Defender XDR, and the other half were given only Defender XDR. And you can find here the results. They were amazing. They will be able to be 22% faster and still being even more accurate than without using Copilot for security. So these results are really interesting, but what I find even more interesting is how you can tackle this, take this infusion of AI and put it into the SOC. So Oriol, can you explain us how would you do it with a real use case?
Yes, let's go through a use case that we have defined here for the presentation, which is basically a suspected security threat where all the technology that Lucas has explained us can help us in all these kind of processes that a SOC would take, for instance, to manage the suspected threat. First of all, is that this Copilot can help us on the first stage of the triage. We can get all the signals, we can classify them against the MITRE attack classification so that we know exactly which TTPs are taking place, so that we can contextualize much more who may be the actor, what is it doing, what are perhaps those next steps, and then move to this proactive position on how we deal with that incident handling or that pre-incident handling, that triage. So we can do the pre-case verification. So we can check all those signals that Lucas has mentioned, pull them all together, and use Copilot just to understand exactly what's going on, who may be, as I said, attacking. So with all the IOC verification, with all the threat intelligence that we can also introduce into the Copilot, not only the technology that is, the intelligence that is coming from the platform, but also all that we can have for our context. We can enable the sandbox evaluation. If there's any malware that is being introduced in our network or our infrastructure, we can do so. The procedures execution done by the same Copilot, so we are releasing all that task from our people in the SOC that they need to do all the procedures and then call, notify. All these kind of steps can also be done by the Security Copilot solution. And then whatever of the vulnerability exposure, we can contextualize at speed of scale with this solution. So definitely, if we can further orchestrate a playbook or a workbook so that we can give Copilot the instructions just to proceed with the response, then we can also have not only the phase of triage with all the analysis of the information, but also coming down to the operation and the response, orchestrate the exact operation that we want to have in the SOC. But not only that, notify all the shareholders, all the stakeholders, and even do the follow-up and connecting with the MISP. So we can even collaborate or interact with other players just by moving information from one place to another. So this case is a real way to show how Copilot can help in most of the phases of what we will be doing in this case. So we can, as we said before, release some of the burden, some of the work that our technicians are doing right now at the SOC team, and then focus them on analyzing exactly what's going on, if we are under a coordinated attack, or if there may be any particular situation that we need to face just by avoiding having to analyze manually all these kind of steps in a suspect threat case. So which are the main takeaways? Which are the outcomes that we want you to take from that session, and that we want you to understand that introducing AI and managing the Copilot solutions into the operation of your SOC can improve the way that you operate? Of course, to face all that increase of sophistication or threats, we need to have a mean time to detect and respond to those. And having all these solutions, this Copilot, understanding all the context is something that can speed up your operation to understand much before what is going on into your network, into your infrastructure, into your application, whatever that you are protecting. Reducing the time, as you know, is reducing the impact, so that's crucial. All what has to do with what we've said about the intelligent workforce, training your staff, having your staff moving from one function to another in a very quick and simple way is something that can be done also by introducing this AI, this technology, because it's not necessary that every technician knows exactly what's going on in each of the processes that you are undergoing in the SOC. So you can improve your operational efficiency by having not less people, but more trained people with the assistance of this kind of solutions so that they can interoperate for knowing more and doing more. Of course, you can also shift from that reactive position that we have right now to a proactive by having all the people concentrated in analyzing what's going on, what are all the contextualized alerts that Copilot is dealing for ourselves, so that you can focus more in the strategy, development, operation, and performance that you want for your SOC. And also, you need to move from a pure operational point of view on how your SOC is doing right now, the operations, to a place where you can use the SOC as a tool to analyze what's the evolution of the risk for your organization. You need to move, of course, all the operation that you are doing for the SOC to a C-level, so that you need to explain better what is going on with the SOC and why this SOC is absolutely necessary. What are the operations that need to... So these contextualized metrics for every kind of recipient are key to understand the value of the SOC in your organization, either if it's public or if it's private. And finally, this can help you elevate your security program. Doing so is increasing the performance, increasing the results, and also following up better which are the actions that you are doing with your SOC. So really being successful in the modern SOC is introducing these kind of solutions, introducing these processes, and doing better. Thank you very much for your attention. And I don't know if you have a couple of minutes for a question, if anyone has any question on the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Any question in the room? No? Well, we'll be moving by if you have any...
Maybe later. Thank you.
Thank you very much.